Hi everyone, I'm Roxy, and if you're new to my channel, I'm so happy to have you here, and if you've always been here, then welcome back. So in today's video, I'll be giving you guys the story of when I quit my job 2 years ago to start my own business and just build my own personal brand. So I have all of it on my phone here because you guys know I love a list. I just can't live without one. So this is, I quit my job working in a lab to become the CEO of my own company. So that is what this video is going to be all about. So I actually had 2 jobs that I quit before I started my own company and before I really knew what I wanted to do. So this starts from the very beginning, where in my life the only thing I was ever exposed to was science. I have my bachelor's of science, I did my degree in biochemistry and biotechnology, I got scholarships for science, I started my MPhil. I feel like if that is the next story that I have to tell you guys, that I also quit my MPhil. So when I got my degree, there were like job positions in my university where you could have applied to become like a lab demonstrator, and since I had no idea what I wanted to do in life, I was actually recommended by one of my lecturers to start the demonstration jobs. The thought of like going on to continue my MPhil was very overwhelming to me, because typically when you are in the field of science, you get your degree, then you get your MPhil or your PhD. So I knew I was never going to do PhD, but I was going to do my MPhil. So I said, before I started my MPhil, let me just work in the lab. I did this for a few years and I did not like it at all. Like literally, it was the most miserable thing in life for me personally. And one of my best friends who was working with me at the time, she knew how much I did not like this demonstration job at all. It was like very redundant, it was overwhelming, it just was not me, and I was so unhappy. I knew that I had to do something, and this was it, because I had to have a job and I had to like make money. This is what society told me I had to do. So this was me literally following it to T. My lab job experience was literally the most unfulfilling thing ever, and I was very depressed because I knew that I wanted to do something with like my YouTube channel and my blog. It just did not have like the avenues to do it at that time, and I was very just depressed having to go to demonstrate to students and mark their lab. It just was like a complete nightmare to me, and I look back at that time, like thinking of it now, I look back at that as being like one of the most depressing times of my entire life. But I feel like if you're always meant to be where you're supposed to be, and everything kind of makes sense later on in life. So while I was doing that whole lab job, at the side I continued my YouTube, I continued my blog. You guys know, like my plan with Roxy videos, those videos took off and did really well, and I knew that I wanted to do something in that aspect. So that was basically my side hustle. My side hustle was my YouTube, my blog, and then starting It's Pretty Productive. Over the years being a YouTuber and a blogger, I literally taught myself graphics so that I could make my blog literally the cutest thing ever, and ever so often I would like revamp the entire thing. I would like do new graphics, I would make everything cute. So over the years, all of that blogging and YouTubing literally was a stepping stone for me to start creating my own planners that you see around and doing my own thing. It literally started off just playing with my blog and my YouTube channel to make cute graphics. That was literally it. So that is how my side hustle started. I don't know if you guys remember, if you have been here for the longest time, on my blog roxyjames.com, I would have every single year free downloadable calendars. Also get excited because I have my 2016 free printable calendars, and the response was absolutely mind-blowing, and I got so much requests to do it for 2016. Hope you like it. I worked so hard on it. Thousands and thousands of people would download my free calendars because I would always say that I love organizing, I love goal planning, but it never had cute online calendar printables to download. I would always have to download the ugliest black and white ones. It became a yearly thing for me to have these free calendar downloads. So I knew that that was my passion and what I really love doing, and literally every second in a lab was stifling that passion. It was taking me away from doing something that I truly love, and that is how I look at it. Like anytime that you are stuck and feeling stuck in somewhere and you don't know why, it probably is because you want to be doing something else that you really love and that you're really passionate about. And that is exactly what was happening to me. I felt so stuck, I was unhappy, I was miserable working in a lab, and every single second that I was in the lab, I would just think about how much things I could be doing for my channel and my blog and for my side hustle, which was my stationery brand. I mentioned that I had 2 jobs. So while I was doing the lab job, I went for my interview for my master's. In the interview, somebody literally hired me on the spot to work at their social media company because I had so much experience with running social media. So while I was doing my lab job, I was like, okay, well, maybe social media is my calling. So I was side hustling with my lab job on one side, and then a few days a week I would go into this social media company where I managed pages like Auntie Anne's and Cinnabon and like random like social media pages for those things. And I would like plan content out for a month because I was really good at doing that. But then I quickly felt the same exact way. I was miserable, unhappy, unsettled, anxious because I was like giving so much energy to other brands when I could be focusing that energy on me. So again, I found myself really unhappy because I was doing things that only took me away from my passion and following my own dreams and literally creating my dream life. That became the basis of my company as is. So I quit that social media job within like 2 months. I could not do it at all. I literally could not do it. I went straight back into working in the lab full time, and it was only 2 years ago that I was able to quit that lab, and I was literally the happiest that I ever was. Like, was I scared? Heck yes, because this was me taking a chance and trusting in my business and trusting that this will be able to be like a full-time job. Like, I finally was able to be like, you know what, my time is worth so much more in my company than being in a lab. And once I put that into perspective, I was able to dive right into creating amazing stationery and coming up with new products to help people live their best lives. And I became like such a different person. I was so happy. I am so happy doing what I'm doing. I'm so fulfilled. I am so content. Obviously, I want to keep doing more in my business, and I will never feel like if I'm settled. I will always feel like if I want to do more and more, but I'm happy that I finally am able to do that. If you have gotten to that level in your life where like you have your side hustle, which is something that you really want to do, but like, girl, you have to pay the bills still. Like, obviously, I only quit when I knew that I was able to be sustainable. Even when you're starting your own company, you might not get paid for a very long time. So like I said, I quit my lab job 2 years ago, but my first salary was literally last year, September. I will never forget it. I went almost 2 years without getting a single dollar in my bank account from my business because every single cent that I made went into like remodeling this place. Like, in here, I will put in some video clips, you guys. In here literally was broken down, dilapidated space. Don't expect if you quit your full-time job to pursue your side hustle slash passion that you'll be able to get paid ASAP. It might not always be the case. If it is, you're so lucky. Honestly, it took so long for me to even be sustainable, for me to even pay myself. That is basically my little story of like where I came from before I became the CEO of my own company and before I really found my calling and my passion in life. Some of us may know our passions in life from like the beginning of time, and then some of us might not know, but that's okay. You just basically figure it out as you're going. So some tips if you are in a similar situation: you need to acknowledge that you need your 9-to-5 job because that is what is going to be funding your new business, funding your brand, funding the starting up of your new company. So don't think that you are above hustling that 9-to-5 job, because like I did it and so many other people did it until we were able to know that we could be sustainable in our own companies. So while you have your 9-to-5 job, there's nothing wrong with hustling on the side. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't quit your 9-to-5 job because then you'll find yourself in like a really not nice financial situation, which nobody wants. So I was waiting, like I said, for years until the day that I could actually quit my lab job. And when I did, it was the happiest and most rewarding time of my life. My next piece of advice is something that I just mentioned, and that is you need to come to terms with the fact that you may not get a salary for the first few years or months of your business. Don't think that you'll be able to get a salary and be able to pay yourself as soon as you start. Which leads back to my first point. Don't quit your 9-to-5 job. As crazy as it seems, your 9 to 5 job is basically like your salary, which is going to support you as well as help you with your own business and opening your own business. My next piece of advice is that success definitely is not overnight. They see all of this, but they have no idea what went on in the years before, which was basically like me not knowing what I wanted to do, having 2 jobs, which I absolutely hated is such a strong word, but like absolutely disliked sounds really close to it. I will say that having to have like your real 9 to 5 jobs to sustain you is going to be one of the most difficult things that you're ever going to do. But in the end, ultimately, when you do open your own business and when you start your own company and you have your own brand, that is going to be the most rewarding process. I hope you guys got some tips from my entire like quitting my job and becoming the CEO of my own company, and kind of understood like where everything came from, where I came from, and how all of this happened. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thumbs it up if you want to have like more story time videos like these. Don't forget to also subscribe for a lot more like content like this, like vlogs, entrepreneur type content, and just so much other things. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Mwah.